Hey guys, welcome to the Messy Men podcast. I'm here with my good friend, a very lifelong friend actually at this point.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been.
15 years?
Stop it.
Like, it might even be longer, you know.
15
I think
years.
I was 20 when I met you.
We're not gonna disclose ages of this show.
Yeah, he looks good for 53 though, doesn't he? But...
Stop it. Actually, on that note, it's a really good segue. Thank you for this, because this is my very good friend, Jack V2, and the owner of Jack's Room TikTok channel, who is a really good friend, close friend. We share lots and lots of things. And one of the things that we share is, our matching, we share our matching dunks, but we also share a passion for fitness and music and comedy and various other things. Gaming, yeah. Yes. You go into those things probably a little bit deeper than I do, but we do share those passions. And your comment about me being 53 is funny because a few years ago, my BMI would have told me I was about that age.
Yeah.
And it was actually you that, took me out of a really, I suppose, dark time and gave me like a really healthy way to kind of channel some of the things I was going through fitness.
Yeah,
and you coached me that.
Yeah.
I think it was that summer. You coached me, and you've got some really interesting methods of doing that. Like some really interesting methods of doing that, which obviously feed into the kind of character that you are.
Yeah.
But it was a really good, it was a really good summer for us.
I just remember seeing. I mean, obviously we go way back, but I think we probably hadn't seen each other for a little while, and I saw you. I think you did a post on Instagram, and you didn't look yourself. And not the happy Jay that I knew and loved. And I think at the time, I just remember reaching out to you and saying, come down the gym, let's catch up, let's train.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I said to you was, because I said about training, we were talking about it originally, and I said, I just want my friends and the people I love to live a long, healthy life. So let me help. What can I do?
Definitely.
And I remember that summer. That was a good summer.
It was.
That was a hot summer though.
Oh my gosh, it was one of the hottest summers actually.
You had me flipping tyres outside in the sun though.
No. You had me flipping tyres outside, as if you didn't have like a tyre flip at your gym at the time anyway.
Yeah, but we did that inside with air conditioning.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you had me outside talking about, let's go outside.
Was that your birthday?
It was around my birthday. It was definitely around my birthday.
That was a mad hot day.
Which was around the July sort of time. But that's when I really decided to kind of pick up fitness, I suppose, and kind of lean into it. And as you said, I wasn't really myself, obviously, for good reason. But it had been a long time coming as well. I'd let go of myself, I think.
Which we've all been there.
Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it? I suppose as you get a bit older, and when certainly when life hits you, if you like, you can kind of go through something. And but that was the point that I'm making. That in such a hard time for me, having a friend like you who saw that, and not only saw that, but kind of took action. Do you know what I mean? Now what you guys won't know at this point is that Jack is a professional PT, right? So Jack not only was a gym owner, but professional PT working and doing sessions, with clients.
One-to-one, group training, boxing.
Yeah.
Bit of a mix really, but...
And these sessions are, you make a living out of it.
Yeah.
Essentially. But Jack was obviously, as a friend, offering me essentially training for free. And just giving me hour upon hour of his time to work out some of my inner issues, but in such a supportive way.
And it's not entirely unselfish. I want to spend time with my friend, and it was an opportunity for me to spend time with you, because we didn't get a lot of time together back then. Life was life in, and we kind of, we're not lost touch. We've always been in touch, but we definitely lost a routine of friendship at that point. And it was an opportunity for me to reach out, to help you, but also to give me kind of access to our friendship again. And so it was important to me. It wasn't just, it wasn't an entirely selfless act in that sense. It meant a lot to me having that time with my friend again. And we were spending time in a way that was, productive to our health. You know, back when we were younger, we could go out, we could party, we could drink, and we could do what we wanted.
And we did.
We might not tell them stories today.
Not today, but we did.
But we could do those things without any repercussion. And whereas as you get older, those kind of things become unhealthy. They become crutches, they become problems. And it was nice for us to find a way to develop our friendship and allow our friendship to keep going in a healthy and new direction and a new way, and just get time to spend together, which was, you know, important to me. Yeah. And you know, it really got us back to like hanging out, and absolutely, you know, it was great, man. You know.
So just to kind of give that some context, obviously when we met, I think we were working in Apple, weren't we? That's how we met.
We were. I can tell you. Yeah. The first story of when I met Jay.
No, not the full story. Okay,
I'll give you a very brief one.
Tell the story.
So when you start training in any job, or you do any kind of class, you know, at the end of the session or the end of the day, the teacher says, "Has anyone got any questions?" And everyone shuts up because everyone wants to go home. This guy, day one,
I had questions.
Had about 10 questions. But I didn't know him at this point. He's on another table. Day 2, same thing. Day 3, Jay's at my table. Guess anyone any questions? Jay goes to put his hand up, and I went, "Shut up! I want to go home." And ever since then, we've been boys.
I have reported that to HR, but they did nothing about it.
Yeah, Apple don't care. Apple didn't
Somehow
care.
They put us in the same team, and that was the best thing they could do for me at the time.
But yeah, that's how we first met. It's training day.
Yeah,
even though we lived in the area.
Yeah, we've lived relatively close. For
and
while,
we had mutual friends and stuff. Yeah, but actually, it was day one on Apple training.
It was
in that hotel.
And actually, since then, we've been like that, really, haven't we? The whole time, essentially. And again, we've had different seasons of in terms of work, being involved in different things, relationships that we've both been involved in. But it's been quite a consistent friendship. But we've also, again, along that journey, we've shared music, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And music was a big part of, obviously for me, it's been a sort of a career thing, but for you, it's definitely something that you love, have always loved, and have always done. Even today, you showed me a video that you posted on TikTok of you singing a cover song. And obviously, you're very talented at it as well. But the point that I want to make here is that you then transitioned into the fitness industry. What made you do that?
Well, I mean, the fitness industry saved me from a very dark place in life, you know, and a lot of the darkness for me came from working within music and being around quite toxic people within that industry. I really felt like at the time, won't go into details of what we were doing, but we had achieved some pretty big goals. The people I was working with, the artists I was working with, you know, we just played at Wembley. We'd supported Example and Rizzle Kicks at Wembley. It was an amazing, you know, we really felt like we were there. And then a lot of it just fell apart due to some bad decisions made by some bad people. And it broke my heart, to be perfectly honest. And I couldn't face working in music anymore. And I just walked away. And I didn't touch an instrument, didn't try and make a song, I really thought at that point, that's it for me. Music will never be, I'm never going to play again, because it's just the stress I went through. And then I didn't handle that stress well. I went back to working in IT, in the Apple kind of world, and I just hated it. Going from something that was such a big buzz, something that was, you know, the adrenaline of working in the music industry and playing gigs and producing and meeting some of the amazing people you meet in the industry. But the crash I had after that, I went into just a very dark place, and I gained a lot of weight. You know, I was about 18 and a half stone. Bear in mind, I'm only 5'8" as well. So 18 and a half stone on my little body that was a lot of weight. I was drinking heavily. I got into drugs with certain people, and my life was just spiraling. And one day, it was actually a friend of mine made a comment, and he hates me telling this story. His name's Reno, and he's one of my best friends. But he saw me after a period, and he saw how big I'd got, and he was like, "Wow, man! It's like, you're nearly as fat as me." But wow. I was like, phew. But he was a big guy, and it was almost like a welcome to the club, not an insult. But in my head, I was like, I don't want to be part of that club. And this was on Christmas Eve, and I remember thinking, wow, I wanted some presents from Santa. I didn't want to be Santa. I'll wobble my belly like a bowl full of jelly. And
way to load the guilt before you settle into the snacks on Christmas Day as well.
Yeah, for real. And then I went back to my job come New Year, and my manager at the time, a guy called Lee, who again I stayed in touch with, and he hates this story too, but he actually wobbled my belly on the first day I was back and went, wow, you had a good Christmas.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, I've become that guy. I have become the fat guy. Like, it's not just like, oh, you've gained a bit of weight. Like, I've become a guy that people think is big enough to be comfortable being that big, that they'll wobble my belly and not think about it.
Wow.
That day, I went and joined the gym. I left the job early because I was just distraught. I wanted to cut out. Went to my local gym. I actually hurt my neck on my first session because I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never been to the gym before. I was 26, 27 at this point. I went in, hurt myself, didn't go for 2 weeks. But then it went from there and I just started training. And then the more training I did, it wasn't about the weight loss for me. It was more the mental clarity and energy I got from it. I then would go out on a weekend, be too hungover to train, and I'd hate the fact I'd be too hungover to train. So I stopped drinking as much. And then I was like, well, I don't need to drink actually. Like, I'm quite enjoying getting up early on the weekends, you know, training, going out for walks, playing with the dogs, you know, doing things like that I wouldn't have done before because I just lived for Friday night and then died on Monday morning from the weekend sort of thing. And yeah, you know, it was, I think I lost 8-9 stone. That was January to September.
Wow.
And I really put the grind in. I would go straight from work because I knew if I got home, I wouldn't go back out. So I would go straight from work, straight to training. Again, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I really found that community in the gym. Like when I reached out to you, I had people start to notice me in the gym that I was there a lot. And it wasn't like the trainers and the staff. It was like the giant dudes, like the ones that look scary in the gym. And I always remember this guy called Andrew. And Andrew was referred to as the real Hulk by Tom Holland once. Wow. Because he used to train Tom Holland. Wow. And Andrew came up to me and he just kind of like manhandled me. I was doing something wrong. And he went, there you go, that's better. And I was like, oh, okay. And yeah, then people like that really helped me and they started to notice it. And I just get like little nods and stuff. And that community kept me going. And then I remember thinking, I want to be here. I don't want to be there at work, sat at the desk, miserable, people I didn't like. And then I remember one day I was having an argument with this guy I work with. I won't name him. But Andy, and he was just being rude to me, and it was a very toxic office, and I just thought, why am I here? Why am I trading my time for money in a place that makes me this miserable? I got up, I left, and I went and sat in the park, Non-Such Park near us, and I sat on a bench thinking, what am I going to do? Like, I've just quit. I know I'm not going back, so I went to the gym. And the manager was there, and I was like, I will do any job. I don't care what it is, but I will do any job. And the only thing he had was a leafleter to go door to door for like 2 days a week, and 2 days a week to do cleaning. And I did leafleting and cleaning for 2 months, like literally scrubbing toilets. Then I got a job on a Saturday just covering reception because someone called in sick. I was like, I'll do it. Did that, got that job. Then I went like as a full-time reception staff. Then I got them to train me for my level 2, which is like a class instructor thing. Started teaching classes. Went full-time doing kind of general gym staff and teaching classes. Within about 6 months, I made assistant manager. Ran the gym for a while, and then saved. And I wasn't working for a lot of money, but I was doing it because it made me happy. You know, I took very low salary just because I just wanted to be doing something I loved. Yeah. And then from there, I then paid for my PT course, did that through the YMCA, which was a 6-week course, came back, and then just went self-employed and started training people from there. And I've kind of not really looked back. It's had its problems. I've had, you know, trials and things like, you know, issues that I've had over the years as a PT. And as you know, being a business owner, it's difficult.
Yeah.
And then obviously, then we had COVID, near enough 6 months after I qualified.
Yeah.
So that was a hard adjustment. And then coming out of COVID, instead of going back to the gym I was at, I decided to open my own thing and did that for 4 years. And which is where obviously you then started training with me there. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a weird journey. But all my journeys have been weird.
Well, I mean, it's you know, it's just kind of, it is resolved in that you found yourself in a low place, and you found yourself kind of joining a community, which you didn't feel low when you were around.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And again, given what something like exercise and working out does for you, you're also around a community that is now bringing a positive impact on your life. And I get that. My follow-up question to that is, obviously, since I've known you as well, you've been quite involved in martial arts.
Most of my life.
Yeah. And I think your dad has been really involved as well. How has that kind of impacted you and your mental wellness over the years as a whole as well?
That's an interesting question. It's kind of... It's funny because martial arts to me is very much just a thing that's in my life. Like, it's not really something that I even think about as in a conscious way. It's a very subconscious part of me, I guess, because I started Aikido when I was 9. My dad's done Aikido since he was 16. I begged him for like a year to let me come to the adult class with him. Eventually gave in, and then I did it from there. And I've dabbled in various martial arts over the years. Aikido's always been my kind of North Star of martial arts, but I've boxed, I've done Muay Thai. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of the newer ones, which I love. I'm going to try and get you to come with me one day soon. Although we have had a run-in with that at one point. I feel like
this is what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu looks like.
Jay just turns up with some rackers. It's like, no, wrong thing. Bro.
Sign me up, bro. Sign me up.
But it's... I've worked in a fight gym with some phenomenal fighters, some real professional athletes, UFC fighters, ex-UFC fighters, world-class jiu-jitsu teachers. And the thing that you learn the fastest with being around people like that, and also doing martial art yourself, is they are the most gentle people. They are the nicest people. They're the people that will look out for you. They're the people that will check on you. They're animals when they're in the cage and they're in the ring, and they're dangerous people. Yeah. But they're not dangerous people.
No.
And those are the people that you can feel completely secure and safe around. Yeah. It's idiots and people that don't know what they're doing, and people in the party culture and that world that cause problems. But martial arts for me, whilst I'm not the best fighter in the world or the best martial artist in the world, it gives me a confidence that I can handle myself to an extent. So I know in a situation I can get myself out of it for the most part. Obviously things go wrong, and there's always someone bigger and stronger and better than you out there, but the people that are bigger, stronger and better than you that are out there generally aren't the idiots that are going to cause you problems.
No.
So it's helped me stay calm.
I was just going to interject on that note. I'm wondering, because you've said that the people that you feel are sort of the best at martial arts, and some of the world champions that you've named being some of the the most calmest and coolest people. I'm wondering if there is a crossover between, particularly as men, like being able to engage in something like a martial art which safely allows you to exercise your anger, your aggression, that then pacifies you in real life, because you don't then need to, I don't need to swing for someone because I've gone and gotten that out on a Monday night session, and do you know what I mean?
It's funny because this is something I think a lot of people almost assume about boxing and fighting and martial arts, is that it's like an outlet for anger. I actually don't think that's the case. I think it teaches you that anger and aggression don't help. They actually hinder you in those situations. And most people, when they walk into their jiu-jitsu class, whatever it is, they walk in there with the biggest smile on their face. They are so happy to be there. There is no anger when they walk in. And I think it actually teaches you to let go of that, because it's not something that will help you, and it is only a hindrance. And I don't think you will get a day, if you had a bad day and you just want to go hit a bag and stuff, that there is a time and place, and there's elements of that. But I think on the whole, it takes away the need to let out anger, because you no longer feel so angry.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people start their journey because they're angry or they're scared, or whatever it might be. But the community in a fight gym is like no other. Those people are brothers and sisters in there. And so that whole feeling of anger outlet goes. You no longer.
How about aggression then? Because obviously aggression is like a natural part of excessive testosterone.
Yeah.
If you like, and I don't mean like just like aggression walking down the street like I'm just aggressive, but there is a part of masculinity that requires, like, you know, you like to like wrestle. You and me, we've wrestled a few times. Just because we're men and that's what we.
It's usually me just attacking you out.
Yeah, I mean, that has happened. You seriously injured me on a numerous occasions.
Seriously,
I'm suing. HR will be back.
I armbarred him once.
It only took once to break the arm. That's what I'm saying. My elbow's never been the same. My 3-point shot is gone.
It was never there.
It is, as far as my insurance is concerned. But in terms of, you know what I mean, in terms of like a healthy level of masculine aggression, if you like, maybe that's the wrong word, but you understand
a boisterous
what I mean.
energy.
Boisterous energy.
Yeah.
Is there a sense of that kind of? It's got a safe outlet in that place.
100%. I mean, there's a guy called Tommy. He's a local lad. Tommy Otwell. Me and him used to do the kind of the amateurs boxing together. And week on week, there'd be 1 week I'd whoop him in sparring, and I'd be like, and I'd be going for him. But the problem was I knew that the next week he was going to get me back. So there was that level of competition there, and you walk in and you're like, I'm gonna do him today. But it's a respectful thing as well, because it's like, I respect the guy well enough that I can really go for this. I respect his ability to be able to take it and give it back. So yeah, there's a level of aggression to fighting.
Yes,
but it just channels different. Yeah, never surrender.
No mercy.
But this guy, me and him, I mean, we would go at it. You know, we'd come out battered and bruised, but we'd always feel the better for it. We'd always feel like we'd improved ourselves, and our friendship got better and better and better. And I see the guy out in the street. You know, he's a local boy, and we always big hug. It's always great to see him. But this is a dude that for weeks on end we kick out of each other constantly. But he's one of those people that will give me a big hug. So yeah, there is a level of aggression, but it's not a negative aggression. It's a positive output for that boisterous energy and that. Yeah, that feeling of, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we are animals. We fight for what we want, and we fight for the things, you know, we love, and fight against things we hate. But yeah, it becomes this love of that energy, and it just changes the way you feel about fighting. The other thing as well, I really found especially with boxing, it takes away so much fear for lots of things, but boxing, especially the first time you get punched in the face. That first time you get punched in the face and you go, oh, I mean, it wasn't great.
No, but I'm alive.
But I'm alive. Yeah. I'm not made of glass. I haven't shattered on the floor. And then
that's important.
It's that first hit, and you go, okay, actually, I'm stronger than I thought I was. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and that's a real freeing feeling. And that freeing feeling...
I could punch you in the face right now.
You punch me in the face right now, that might not be freeing for you.
That freeing feeling.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, that free from fear.
Free from fear. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. But also, it's that kind of like, I want to move quicker next time, because that didn't feel great.
It's a very quick motivator for growth and improvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, and something that I've always dealt with, like my whole life, is I'm quite different. I've always looked a bit different. I've always had like a bit of a crazy haircut, or I dress in a bit of a crazy way, or I've always done things that are quite unconventional. I've always been a bit of a target for bullies in every walk of life. But because I've not got that fear, and again, this isn't like I can beat anyone up thing. I don't mean that at all. I don't have the fear of what they can say or do to me, because then I can get out of it, or I can survive it. So if I didn't have that tool in my belt, I think life would be very different for me. I think the fact that I know I can weather a lot.
That's deep, yeah.
A lot of negativity has helped me. There's times when we go out when we were younger, and I'd always have a target on me for some reason. There's always those dudes, those idiots in clubs, because I think they look at me and I'm having a good time, and I'm not.
Yeah. We've never been bound by that, have we?
But I think if I had that fear, I wouldn't have enjoyed myself like we used to, because I know I'm different looking in the way I dress and act and do. Like, we would go out. I don't know if you know this about Jay. He's a fantastic dancer, and I learned a lot of stuff from you when we were dancing when we were younger, going out in the clubs in London and stuff. But I was an emo kid with ripped jeans and fingerless gloves.
Yeah.
I didn't look like the kind of kid that danced the way that a lot of Jay and his friends did. And when I did, I'd get a lot of attention because people were like, what?
Yeah.
And that attention, if I was scared of getting attention, I would never have enjoyed myself like I did. I would never be able to let go.
I hear that.
And there's people that didn't like, I mean, I've had a lot of criticism over the years for the fact that I dance. They're like, why do you dance? But
hate is gone hate.
Yeah, and it's letting go of that fear of what people think and what people might do and what people might say. And I think that all started with martial arts for me.
It's really interesting because obviously, if I look at the same sort of times that you're talking about, for example, when we used to go out, I've always presented as tall and, in the UK, black. So that comes with, a sense of, for some people anyway. And so there has always kind of been a sense of security that I've experienced because of that. Having said that, it was you that really introduced me to boxing, right? And having had moments training with you and certainly sparring with you, I definitely have felt more confident, and more confident not because I now want to go out and smack someone in the face, but just on the basis that I feel like I have an idea of how to defend myself. I have an idea of how to strike and strike hard if necessary, quickly. And again, without being able to guarantee I can win any fight or every fight that I'm involved in, or again, would trying to avoid at all times, but it has given me a sense of confidence that I didn't have before, which is, again, it's somewhat life-changing. Not like I walk again around the street with my chest pumped out, but I just feel like I know how to handle myself.
Yeah, I think, and it's such a big misconception for people that don't do it or haven't done it, and they look at someone, especially if they see someone that's just started and they posted an Instagram video of them doing a bit of boxing, and they think, I bet they think they're well tough now. You don't. No. You feel better. You feel more confident, and you feel safer in yourself when being out there. But it's not. It doesn't turn into an arrogance, and you're very quickly humbled by martial arts and boxing with people if you become arrogant. That's when it goes wrong for you, and you will be humbled quickly by it.
Absolutely.
Like I say, I can handle myself. I've done various martial arts and stuff, but there are people out there that are just phenomenal, and I would rather fight someone like Nathaniel Woods, local UFC lad, great guy. I'd rather fight him in a cage than someone outside on the street, because
Nathaniel, if you want to take the fight,
I'm calling you out, bro. But like, I know Nathaniel is so good. He's also respectful enough of the fact that he can be dangerous, and he will end the fight in a safer way than some idiot on the street that might pick up a bottle and bottle me or something like that.
Yeah.
As well. So these people are just, they develop such a calmness about them, and I think, like I said, it's
but then maybe that is the confidence that they have, the way there is no need
that to come through.
I would say sometimes the bravado of it all is actually a lack of internal confidence. It's like the whole classic, let me puff myself up.
The beating of the chest.
Because actually I can't back it. Versus I'll be very, very still, calm and contained until you have now threatened me or a loved one, and now there's we go from 0 to 100 very, very quickly. And
it's funny you're talking about the kind of appearance making things easier in some respects, like we said about walking around being big, tall, black, having that sense of security. There's something,
I mean, it comes with its fair share of
which
there's issues with that as 100%. Well, but there are times where it serves me, for sure.
And I think that's something that I've never experienced. I get underestimated a lot, being a small white guy, that's just a little beard. I look like a Lord of the Rings fan, which I am.
You are.
We'll come on to that, I think.
Yes, we will.
But like, I do get underestimated a lot in that, but I don't care about that. Like, I don't mind that. I'd rather be underestimated and then be like, whoa. And we've had times where we've been out together, and I don't know if you remember this. We were in Slug and Lettuce, and there was a really drunk guy for some reason just started squaring up to you. He was just too drunk, and the security guard was stood there like ready to kind of step in, but I don't, like, because of the way I look, no one even realised that I was like there ready to take the guy down if he swung for you. So it does serve me a little bit sometimes as well.
No, it does. It absolutely does.
I was fully ready. That guy would have hit the floor before he even got near you. But no one even looked at me.
Yeah. No.
And I'm like, okay, I'm happy to fly under that radar.
Yeah.
And but again, even situations like that can go wrong. It's it's not a beating of the chest when I talk about martial arts.
No, not at all. And in fact, I would argue that there is a part of me that is far more prepared to think my way out of a problem than fight my way out.
Which is 100% the way it should be. That should always be the first step.
Yeah, it's a last resort, I think.
That my first sensei, William Timms, that's one of the things he'd always say, talk yourself out of it before you have to fight yourself out of it.
Yeah.
He's like, there is no shame in walking away from it.
That's really deep.
There is no shame in walking away from it. And there's a great book called Angry White Pajamas. It's phenomenal. It's a true story. It's an American guy was on the train and he saw this guy basically kicking off at a little old man on the train, having a go at him, berating him, trying to get him into a fight. And the old man talked the guy down and then just walked away from him. And he approached him and he was like, why did you do that? Like, why weren't you so angry? And he was like, oh, well, I'm angry. He said, but what's the point of me fighting the guy? Like, we have the same result. Neither of us are going to see each other again. And I've just walked away and I'm fine, I'm healthy. Yeah. And then this guy then asked him more questions. It turns out he had been a riot police trainer in Japan, which is quite heavily Aikido based with the self-defense side of things. And this dude was actually the first white guy or foreigner, gaijin, to go to Japan, train with the Japanese riot police for a year and become a riot police officer out there. And those dudes are crazy. Wow. But it all stemmed from a peaceful conversation on the train and seeing how this guy handled himself. Never even saw him fight, but he was like, that guy knows something. I want to know that. Yeah. And went out to Japan to learn. It's called Angry White Pajamas. It's obviously based on the gi. That's why the pajamas. Yeah. And it's a fantastic book. And that talks a lot about talking your way out of things, remaining calm, not jumping straight to the fight. No. Which does happen. You get a lot of people, especially when they're a bit green behind the ears and they start boxing, whatever, they go out and they have a few drinks and they think, I can handle myself now.
Yeah, I totally see that.
You do get that. And, I've had my moments of overconfidence where I've broken up a fight and then suddenly I've like, bang, I've been hit and I'm like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. So, there have been those moments. But again, you've developed a conditioning and a mental conditioning and a physical conditioning to be able to take those hits and step out of it safely still. So
keep going.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one to talk about because I tend to not talk about martial arts too much these days. I used to when I was younger, and I do with yourself and like people that are within that world. But to kind of your everyday person that doesn't really know a lot about it, I don't really talk about it because I feel like it might come across as like, oh, you think you're tough. And it's just a conversation I just can't be bothered to have. I'm like, I'm not going to stand here and try and prove myself. Yeah. But you get a lot of people go, oh, so you're black belt, are you? And you're like,
because they watch Karate Kid 1, 2 and 3.
And you're like, I wish I'd never even brought this up.
Yeah.
And what would you do if I did this? What would you do if I did that? And you get that a lot. So it's not something I'd massively talk about because it's mine and it's personal to me. And the people I share it with, people like yourself and people that I've trained with, it's because they respect it in the right way.
Absolutely,
as well. So
and I, knowing you, and we'll go on to the Lord of the Rings aspect in a moment. But knowing you and how what I know about you is that the things that you are into, you are really into, and for the most part, you've been into them for quite a long time, maybe childhood, early teens, and you're a lot deeper at a lot of things than you present oftentimes. Do you know what I mean? And just again, you're just like, you're the guy that is so into it that you'll go and build your own Aikido center in the back of your house because you want, you know what I mean? And it will be prim and proper and present like it would.
I'm very much all or nothing.
Yeah.
Which, that doesn't always serve me.
I mean, I think it has, though. It has, as a whole.
Yeah, it has done. But it's
as a whole.
There are certain things I think, why have I put so much time to this? I could have been a lot more productive today.
Yeah.
But I've always tried to do the things that I enjoy, and as long as I'm not hurting anyone else.
Yeah.
Then I stick to.
Which brings us to your, I suppose it's like fandom. That's really what I want to call it. Your love of. Star Wars, Harry Potter, I want to say Dragon Ball Z.
the one.
Need I go on?
This says Goku.
And again, those are like the commercial ones I know.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't go into some of the deeper things that you're into. And I suppose some of that now is being shown via Jack's Room.
Yeah, which has been really fun.
Which I obviously have found more recently and have noticed that it's doing really, really well, you know? And that whole culture that surrounds it is doing really, really well.
I mean, there's no bigger time, I think, for this, the fandom and the geekdom of things like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. I think, especially with social media now, and like the collectible world has really had a big boost recently, I've noticed.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun. The TikTok just started as a fun place to post me being me, which I've always done that on Instagram, but Instagram's more about the personal training, a little bit of my personal life, but it's always been more about that. And I was like, I want to post something, have a little bit like we talked about before, having a video diary of stuff. And that was about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I started that. And it was just literally me posting silly things to do with Star Wars, collectibles that I've got, the lighting that I use in the room, and then just out of nowhere, some of the videos blew up, and it turns out there are millions of people that love the same thing, and it's like, wow, like, and it's funny, these people, these geeks, these nerds that I've ended up having this following from, they are the most supportive and friendly and lovely people. I get more likes and comments and support from complete strangers that love Star Wars than I do from like family members that follow me on Instagram. Like,
really?
Yeah, and it's crazy. Barring my mum, she likes everything.
I mean, yeah,
she likes everything. She's actually probably a bigger fan of Jay, though, to be fair.
Shout out, Deborah.
But yeah, the TikTok and that geekdom for me, it's always been a thing in my life. And again, it probably goes a lot back to my dad. He was a Star Wars fan. We had the Star Wars films as a kid.
Yeah, he's bought you one or two of those helmets as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've got 4 different Clone Trooper helmets.
Yeah.
Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, one of the second sister Inquisitors. I've got an Inquisitor mask.
Insane.
2 X-Wing helmets.
Insane.
And a red a Sith Trooper from the newer films.
What's funny is that I've obviously known for a while that you are a collector, and Jack's Room, which is the name of your TikTok channel, just goes beyond. I mean, most collections, like because also what you've put into play there is your creative ability to build things as well.
Yeah, like I've always loved that DIY.
And you know what I mean? It's just amazing.
It really stems from, my mum would tell you this, when I was a kid, I would have like, I had my Star Wars figurines and things like that, and every Saturday I would wake up and I would set out a whole new display of all the figures everywhere, all around the room, like a battle scene or whatever it might be, and I would make my mum come up and be like, Mum, welcome to the tour, and I take her around. And I've always been very much into that display thing. And with the DIY stuff, I've never been like an in-the-box solution guy. Like, and if I can buy something that does the job, great. But I always wanted very specific things and like very specific displays or very specific sounds with music and things like that. So it's always been very much, I'll make it myself.
Yeah.
And I've always been like that. I was like it with the gym.
Yeah, you were.
My entire gym had like fold-out gizmos everywhere.
Oh,
gosh,
I've never seen so many things. It's like Batman's utility belt in a gym.
And then even to the units that I built on the wall. I mean, I got 150 plus Star Wars Funko Pops on the wall, and those cabinets custom built out of some IKEA furniture and to mount it. And yeah, I've always liked doing things my way, as opposed to having to like just settle for like something that's out the box. And that stems from being a kid. Like my mum would come upstairs and I'd taken toys apart and remade them into something else. Like I've always been like that. I remember I'd find old electronics, take the chipboards out of them and stuff, and I had a drawer, because one day that drawer I was going to build a robot, man.
Oh my god!
But that's how my mind went as a kid. Obviously, I never built that robot, but my mind as a kid was like, I'm going to save all of this stuff, all these electronics, and one day I'm going to build a robot.
That's just nuts.
But which one? I was like 5-6 years old when I was doing this.
Wow.
And I was just never grown up.
I mean, well, it served you though, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I think what's made my TikTok do quite well, I'm at nearly 22,000 followers on there, got like 3.5 million likes.
Yeah.
It's suddenly blown up over the last 3-4 months, and I think all it is because I just done what I wanted to do. I haven't tried to impress anyone, or I haven't tried to I haven't looked at trending topics and tried to follow a trend or anything. I've just been very much, this is what I do for me and I enjoy it, and hopefully others will.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy how many people do.
And others are enjoying it.
And I mean, I don't know, I've got, like I say, 20,000+ followers, and I don't know how people with 1 million keep up with it. Because every time I refresh some days, it'll be like, I'll refresh, it's 99+ on the notifications. 5 minutes later, 99+.
Crazy.
Like 150 comments, and I'm like, how do people sit and reply to all of this?
I mean, oh my God.
They must have teams that do it, but...
Can I just, where's my little violin? Hold on. Do you want to continue?
Woe is me.
Fame. Being famous is so tough.
Funnily enough,
I don't know how you'd be any more famous than this, because it's just so difficult.
oh, thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your kind words. I'm ready for my award now. Funny enough, talk about like fame, as it were. My dogs got recognised in the park because of my TikTok.
Seriously?
Yeah, so I've got 2 Romanian rescues. Their names are Timon and Pumbaa. They're like 2.5, 3 years old now. I love them. They feature quite heavily on the TikTok because they're nuts. They're really funny.
Very cool.
Obviously movie names as well.
Yeah.
So they suit the geek narrative on my TikTok. But they've been on there quite a bit. And randomly, someone in the park saw my mum walking the dogs and recognised them.
Serious?
And was like, they Timon and Pumbaa.
Wow.
And then they messaged me, they're like, I just saw your mum walking the dogs.
Gosh,
and I was like, whoa.
I thought you were with them. That would make more sense.
Yeah, no, it's my mum.
Like independently from you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, my dogs got recognised for
that
me.
Person, you know?
Yeah. Alex, go away.
That is too much, Alex.
But yeah, it's been fun though, man. Like,
Wow.
and it's just, I'm pushing for a sponsorship from Govee.
Yeah.
Hey Govee.
Hey Govee.
The thing that really blew up the TikTok is the ambi lights, the reactive lighting I've got.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe
you kind of highlight that as something people can go find on Amazon as well.
Yeah, so I get asked every single post, where'd you get the lights from? Where'd you get the lights from? People love it, and I think a lot of people think if they can't buy it out of the box, they can't have it. But it's so easy what I've done. It's basically what it is. It's an ambilight that goes around the TV. It uses a camera to track the screen so that it can match the colours around. And then with Govee, you can then add more lights from their line to it. And in the app, you can sync the whole thing. So I've got like a giant cloud that then comes out the ceiling, out the top of the telly. And the whole room reacts to what's on screen. So like when the lightsabers in the Star Wars film go like vroom across, the blue lights like that, or when Gandalf says "You shall not pass," and that flame, the Balrog comes out, the whole room looks like it's on fire.
It's just incredible.
It's crazy, but it's easy to do, and I think a lot of people don't realise this. So I have like an Amazon list on there of like everything you need to buy. And then I try and talk people through. I actually had the first guy. I'll have to shout him out at some point. He's the first person to post a video of them emulating my setup in their room.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did it look?
It looked amazing. He did a fantastic job. He literally bought everything off my wish list.
Oh my gosh.
Installed it exactly how I did.
Bloody hell.
And it looks great. And he tagged me in it. And it was a really like proud moment. And it's like, he's a young lad from America as well. So it's like reaching across the pond to someone.
That's crazy.
And he tagged me and it just looked so good. And then the feedback he was getting was amazing.
Kevin's room.
Yeah.
You're taking the piss, Kevin. You are taking the piss. He's got the Amazon list and all sorts.
But yeah,
this is what I did.
It's just been amazing. And like, I never thought I'd make money on social media. That's a new thing.
It's an amazing thing.
It is amazing. It's been a learning experience. There's a lot with TikTok that you can get wrong. Like I think it's stuff you think, once you get on that creator program, you're just making money, but you're not. It has to be qualified views. So you have to get 10,000 followers to get on the creator program. Then your video has to hit 1,000 views to qualify. Then for every 1,000 views you get after that, you'll get awarded a certain amount, which is your RPM, and it could be anything from 7p per 1,000 to 60, 70p per 1,000 views.
Oh gosh.
That completely depends on how long people watch it for, where they found it. If they found it by searching, you get more or less, and there's lots of different things on that.
But it's per 1,000.
Per 1,000.
So 998 views, you ain't getting a penny,
nothing.
Bro.
Yeah, nothing.
Ooh.
And there's also things like you have to be careful. So I post a lot of movie content. If I post over a minute, that goes against copyright.
Oh, snap.
But what you also can't do is post like 59 seconds and then 3 seconds of nonsense, because they'll go, well, no, that's low quality. Like, so I then have to really, I have to either be talking about a product after the movie that's to do with it, and it can't just be nothing like nonsense as well. Like,
no, you've got to.
Or reviewing the film, things like that. And I've had a few back and forths with TikTok support. Like I've got one video that did 2 million, but they disqualified it because they said it was what I did after was irrelevant.
Wait. So it got 2 million and then they disqualified it?
No, they disqualified it off the bat from the Create Programme, but then it got 2 million, and I was like, this could have been making me money. Like there's like £100 worth of money that I'm not now getting.
Oh, so in other words, it still got views, but they basically said you're not going to monetize. You can't monetize
from this one. And it's gutting. I questioned it, and they said, well, because it's not. Basically, it's a 58-second clip of Revenge of the Sith, and then it's a 5-second clip. This is the first time it happened to me, so it's kind of the learning curve on it. Annoyingly, I learned from a video that did so well, because it's then me in a Darth Vader helmet going, I can't believe he cut my legs off. He's always been jealous of my legs. Silly little thing.
How would TikTok are on it, but that doesn't even make any sense, to be honest with you, why they would discontinue
the other thing,
given the nonsense that's on there.
You post a video, it's over a minute, so that it has to be over a minute to qualify as well for monetization. You post your video, it's over a minute. You know, on Instagram, you'll then share your reel to your story to get more engagement.
Yeah.
If you share your post to your story, it sees that as unoriginal content, because you can also monetize stories.
Okay.
So it will disqualify that, and you'll get disqualification for unoriginal content.
Oh my gosh.
If you get 5 disqualifications for unoriginal content, they take you off the program. You have to wait 30 days and reapply. And then in that time, you don't get any of the money that your videos are earning. And it happened to me once, because I went through, I didn't know that this was a problem, and I posted it all on my story, like share that one, share that one, share that one, because, it's just redirecting traffic to that post. But no, I got 5 strikes within about 5 minutes, and that was that was the first month though, luckily. So I wasn't doing a lot of traffic at that point.
Okay.
And then it's so it's been learning, and it's been frustrating, especially seeing a video get millions.
I can imagine.
And like millions, I have one video that was, I think 3.6 million views.
Right.
That earned me about £280. So millions doesn't translate to a lot of money. You think it'd be more.
No, well, yeah, you'd think that. Yeah, I mean, it's very similar with music streams, as you know. So we're really talking pennies. But I suppose what it is it's like if you're perpetually doing that on each video, posting 2-3 times a day, every video is achieving that amount, you can imagine by the end of the month that now has become a significant income stream for you.
And then obviously the more followers you're getting, the more just instant organic views you've got. You're not having to rely on the algorithm to push it out to people.
So
the more, as my following goes up, my general plays before it hits the algorithm has been higher.
I can imagine, because I suppose it's hitting their algorithm, and then therefore their people,
then they'll repost and like and engage, and then their friends will see it, and so it's growing. This month, so like last month, it was I think January I made £80 for the month. And it's just a bonus, because it's like all I'm doing is being me at home.
Yeah.
I do this stuff anyway. Like I'm watching these films, playing with these toys, collecting this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So I just post it. So if it makes money, it's just a bonus to me. But then
until it becomes
something I can actually really do.
Job, Rob.
And then February, it was £290. Mm-hmm. And then this month, what are we on, the 6th or 7th? It's made like £15.
I mean, not at the end of the month, though, are we?
Yeah, and all I need is one video.
Either, have you? Do you know what I
mean? I need one video. So it's been interesting. It's been,
right,
and it's just been fun. And I think when I had that first video really hit, I started going, right, I'm going to make a list of all the things I'm going to try and do, blah, blah. And for that week, I was quite miserable doing it. So I stopped planning it.
Yeah.
It just didn't work for me. And I think if it doesn't work for me mentally and spiritually, emotionally, whatever, it isn't going to work.
I was going to actually ask you about that, because obviously, you start doing something because you like it. We live in a climate where we know it can bring a financial reward, but you've said, this is what I want to do, this is me, and you present it. It then goes really, really well. You then are able to now monetize it. Like mentally, how have you coped? I mean, from having to, maybe the pressure of feeling like you have to post, to the pressure of trying to maybe now please your audience, versus where if you don't have an audience, you're just doing it from, well, this is what I want to put. Now you've got 20,000 plus followers. Is there a pressure behind that? And, how do you kind of level it out without also being on your phone all day, every day?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I've had, and it was a weird adjustment at first, because I find myself getting annoyed with people that were leaving negative comments. And I'd be like, well, why are you here then? Bro, if you don't like it, go.
Leave, bro.
And then I'd like comment back, and I'd be like, if you don't like it, like I was never rude or never angry as such, but it would annoy me. I'd be like, well, go away then. Or like, I had a guy, I posted a video, this is yesterday, it was just like a little tour of the room, and I think I had the Valerian Thousand Planet film on, or whatever it's called, and this guy was like, why aren't you watching Star Wars? And my immediate response was, I like other stuff. And I was like, why am I getting annoyed? And so I do have to kind of...
It's like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I have to take a breath. And the other thing, with the cloud lighting that I've got, there was one dude in Australia once that did it with cotton wool, like natural cotton wool, which is a fire hazard in itself. And obviously Australia is like the land of spiders. Mm-hmm. So he had a load of huntsmen living in his ceiling.
Oh my gosh.
And they all fell out one day.
Oh my gosh.
And it scared him. And it became this like horror story of the clouds. Obviously we live in England, so the spiders aren't that bad. Anyway, I use polyester stuffing material and they don't like that. And it's fire resistant. But, oh my God, there's always this one dude. It's always a guy. There's always one of them. You get loads of comments and then one guy go, yeah, but I hope you like living with spiders.
Stop.
And I'm like... Is that all you've got to say? Like, but then at the same time, I'm like, why am I letting this annoy me?
I mean, the funny thing is that it's funny because the more I step into this realm, obviously I understand that you get negative comments, you can get people dislike the video, but it's interesting because it's like a comment is still helping the algorithm
100%,
work for you, whether it's good or bad.
I mean, I had a video that did like 30,000 plays overnight because it was about the Acolyte Star Wars series, and I didn't like it. And I posted that I didn't like it. Bruh. The amount of people, and it's all the new Star Wars fans, it's the people that don't really get it, but they were all like, they all just laid into me.
I feel like you should know that was going to happen.
Yeah. But this is the first time I'd actually posted maybe like a negative review of something, because normally it's just me posting fun stuff, whatever, but because it was Star Wars and people know that I'm a big Star Wars guy, I was like, well, I've got to throw my penny's worth on this.
I'll be honest, yeah.
Yeah, but bro, these people went mad at me.
Crazy.
Really mad. And then one guy accused me of trying to rage bait people into content and things, and I was like, this is just my opinion.
Wow.
But
rage bait.
Yeah, rage bait.
With disliking the Acolyte.
Yeah. Well, and it was rubbish.
Oh, we got to check our priorities.
Yeah, and but yeah, I found it difficult to deal with that negativity at first. But it was after I stopped trying to plan things, I was like, I'm just going to go back to just having fun with this and doing what I do.
Yeah.
It was fine. I just let go of it. And I'm quite fortunate in that I can let go of it. I know some people struggle a little bit more with stuff like that.
It's interesting, yeah. I mean, what I know as well is that someone who's prepared, like obviously, there's the person that will see it, dislike it, and we're talking about the dislikes right now. Someone who see it, dislike it, they swipe. That's most people. Someone who sees it, and then if maybe a YouTube short hits the dislike button because they want you to know they weren't a fan, and sometimes they want their algorithm to know that they weren't a fan, so it doesn't keep showing that kind of stuff, which is fair. But then there's there is a level to social media where the comment section, for example, if I know you, it's very, very different. Well done, bro. Sick. We're family. We're just exchanging comments anyway, and I know I'm gonna exactly a bit of support. But for someone else who doesn't know you from Adam to engage with that, to put something just so you're wrong, or
what's crazy to me as well is I'll post. It'll be like, I don't know, an episode of Star Wars, or one of the films, and someone will literally put a comment going, "But I don't like Star Wars." Right, bro, I never said watch it.
Yeah, bro, swipe.
Yeah, but it's this. I don't know if you've heard the term bean soup theory.
No.
So this was a woman posted a recipe for it was soup and it had beans in it. So she's just a woman posting a recipe. She's like, I like this. This is some food that I enjoy. Here's the recipe. And loads of people are like, but I don't like beans. And it's like, okay, that's cool, calm. Like if you don't like beans, don't have beans.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, what else can I have instead of beans? And like, whatever you want. Be you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need me to tell you.
And don't make me tell you.
But this video went viral. Wow. The amount of people that were like, but I don't like beans.
Wow.
And it's now been coined the term bean soup theory. It's where people see someone else's life and take it so personally, or they attribute their own dislike of something, like everyone should agree with them, or it's all about them. And this is a world we are really entering where people can see things that are entirely not to do with them and get offended by it.
I mean,
and it's like, what are you doing here?
And that in itself will spread something, like you said, probably quicker than something that was just, normal and okay and down the line, and most people would agree with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Controversy.
Yeah.
Spreads so much quicker.
I mean, I get it with gaming, so I like collecting games. I've got like a big PS2 collection and stuff.
Yeah.
All my old consoles. And there'll be like, one guy will go like, yeah, I don't really get why you've got that. Just go digital. Okay, if that's what you want. Like, I'm a collector. I like collecting physical things.
That's really silly.
I'm also of a generation where I collect things.
I just don't think. Why are you in the comment section? Like, think it. If you really must, then think it. But to put it out, again, a comment. It's not like a comment has a 24-hour cycle when it'll disappear.
Yeah,
it's there for life. You've got and
I think that's why I used to.
You've graffitied my thing. And
I think that's why for initially I kind of bite back a little bit because I was like they've left a mark on it.
Yeah.
But actually, you kind of got to accept it. It's going to happen. But also, it does help the algorithm.
And that's the thing.
And I don't want to make content based off of negativity. But if it's going to be there anyway, let it help me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose that's the thing. It's like, at least there's a level to embracing it rather than fearing, I shouldn't because someone else's opinion of it. That was probably the most damaging thing you could do, is to not be you based on someone else's opinion.
I mean, I've had it a lot over. When I started, my Instagram was just purely like a video diary of my weight loss journey when I started. And I had so many comments of people, like little backhanded negative comments about like, oh, do you think you're a gym bro now? Or like, oh, why are you posting that? You look bad, and stuff like that. And then I post we've got videos of us dancing on my Instagram, and for every 10, 15 people that like it, there's always that one person that's like, what are you doing that for? And so, why do you care?
Yeah.
But a perfect example actually was, you wrote a bit of piano. This was ages ago now. You posted a bit of piano, and I did a little collab video of me. I just randomly made up some words and sang along to it. Do you remember that? And it was a little split screen. You were Abby.
I think it was during COVID. No, maybe just after COVID. So maybe yes.
It was a real kind of bouncy vibe, and I wrote. I can't remember what I wrote to it, to be honest. It wasn't great, but it was just a bit of fun. And I had a bunch of there was a crowd from the old fight gym that got kicked out. That were a very negative bunch of people, and they all started laughing at it. This video of me singing. And I remember at the time I was a bit like, oh, I feel a bit embarrassed now. But then at the same time I was like, oh, whatever. And I think I've dealt with that a lot. So even though I have this negativity sometimes on TikTok, the one thing I have found with TikTok is it's been overwhelmingly positive to just me, and it's been really nice. And I think I'm really glad I didn't let those negative people in the past stop me from posting, because even though the TikTok has kind of blown up now a little bit. I say blown up, it's within my world it's blown up.
No, it has.
It's years of editing and messing around making content. I've always made silly content and had fun with it.
Yeah.
And that stuff has put me in good stead to now do this.
But also, do you know, you mentioned it earlier, because yes, absolutely, all of that has. But you mentioned it earlier when we go out. It's like you have also technically grown up like an emo alternative. You've always loved these things, which have now, because what you haven't done is you haven't gone, right, let me just go build a room and fill it with Star Wars stuff overnight. And
this is like a 30-year collection.
And that's what I'm saying. You're presenting your life actually, like as real as it gets, and yourself as real as it gets. And I appreciate that with an online community, sometimes they box you in. So don't go out and show us this because we're not interested in that. But actually, this is my page. I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think what I've seen from you on there is like really kind of freeing. It's even inspired me to be like, why would you restrict yourself from posting content or from just putting out there what it is you're really up to for fear of someone thinking you shouldn't be doing that? I mean, and
those people, they don't matter.
It just does, even if they were right, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, it's still my life, my choice. And if I were doing it for you to like it, then perhaps it does matter. But if I'm doing it because I like it, then your opinion on it is totally irrelevant.
And the only other thing that will happen is you'll find other people that you connect with. And then suddenly you've got all these people that support you. Yeah. There's a dude called Andrew Baines. I'll give him a shout out. He's on TikTok. American guy. I've never met the guy. He's just a TikTok follower. One of my earliest followers. I followed him back. He's a gamer, photographer, father, husband. He's just the nicest guy, man. I would he's the kind of person that if I went to America, I would want to meet him. Like, he's just a nice dude, and he just comments on stuff. He messages. He'll request to see a film on my setup. I'll comment back on the games he's doing. He's just a nice dude, and I've made some real nice connections through this. And he purely found me because we both like games, and our algorithm showed each other to us, and it's been really nice. So that side of TikTok has been really just such a positive experience, and it's been so positive that those negatives just really haven't bothered me.
Do you know what? I think that's a really, really good point, because I feel what you've done, and particularly for the audience I'm trying to inspire, what you've done is you've actually gone into the things that you really like And from those things, you've found a community. You've actually found people that like those things as well. Again, you could argue that all of those things, maybe not now, but 20 years ago, would have been quite niche.
Yeah.
Some of those, Look, not everyone learnt a martial art. Do you know what I mean? As a child. I mean, maybe they had a few karate lessons, but wouldn't have followed it through like you certainly have. Maybe someone did collect a Star Wars toy or two, but no one's, again, games, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So you've really, and again, from those things that you've found a community that is pockets. Obviously, they're all very different pockets, but it seems like you've got a really good, involved, support. If you're not support, but do you know what I mean? Like, community is really essential. And
and even if the community are far and wide, it's still it's a nice feeling. It's just been a positive experience with TikTok, and I certainly never thought I'd make any money from it, but let alone talking about it like this and stuff. And it's been a nice surprise.
That's good, man.
Going that way, because I've always enjoyed making content. I mean, you've done silly skits and things over the years.
We'll have a page together at some point.
I
promise
100%,
you, there's a lot ready for that.
There's loads of content back in the day.
Oh gosh, yeah. I have to check my weight on that, but Rounder J doing some of his.
Well, this is going back to the fitness thing. This is something that I really want to see. I want the world to see is your transformation.
I mean,
and I've seen it in real time. I've also seen the video that you prepared, and I know obviously you're not ready to show it yet, but I'm excited for the world to see that, because it's an amazing transformation.
Do you know what? That is a really interesting thing, because the reason why I haven't is because I still feel like I'll be judged.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm actually quite embarrassed of how I used to look. Now, I've got images of it and videos of it, as you know, from the video itself, but I'm actually quite embarrassed of it, and of how I let myself go, I suppose. But the whole point is the transformation, and I am getting over it.
Yeah.
And even
you got to do it at your
us
pace.
Talking is helping me, and it's been reassuring more to kind of discuss your journey and your kind of letting go of what other people might think about what it is that you're doing. And I will try and demonstrate the same thing.
I think finally, obviously, you talk about how you feel a bit like almost like ashamed of how you could let yourself get to and things like that. Obviously, I did the same thing. One thing I didn't do, I didn't let anyone take photos of me. There are no videos or photos. There's not a record of what I look like at my worst.
Wow.
And I really hate that now. I wish I had that.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I wouldn't have even thought about wanting to see it.
No.
But as time's gone on, I'm like, I wish I'd actually kept a record of me looking at my worst, because I don't think I posted anything in the gym until maybe 6 months into training, when I'd lost a good chunk of weight and stuff. Yeah. But after seeing, because when you showed me your video of where you were before, I wish I had the content to make that, because it's a very inspiring video that you made. And obviously, whilst I know you have your own thoughts on it, the way that your video made me feel, I wish I had that kind of content to do that for others as well. So I think when you do eventually feel comfortable posting that, it's going to be received so well.
Expect a reshare on Jack's room.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a journey. Just
Jay's room.
Yeah, I mean,
I was still trying to get him to come over and get under the duvet with me.
We're collaborating.
We'll do a little movie night in there. We'll go live for the popcorn.
Yeah. Tops and tails, I promise.
That is something fun. Sorry, bouncing back to social media. Something I haven't actually got the courage up to do yet is the TikTok lives.
But you've got access to it.
Yeah, no, I've been able to go live for a long time.
Come on, man. You could do it halfway through a movie for 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, there's people that sit and watch. They just watch Star Wars together. I mean, which is mad. But it's a weird feeling going live. That's the rawest of you.
I suppose. Yeah.
And whilst I am comfortable and I do post stupid stuff and have fun with it, I haven't quite
I get that.
There's that's the final bit for me.
I get that.
And that's what I'm building up to.
I think that's going to generate a lot more for you than you can imagine, actually. Given what a lot of the content is, particularly if you started out with just the movie stuff, I think for you that would do really, really well. 10, 20 minutes of a movie from the angle that you often show from. I think that's probably a good expectation from most of your audience as well, as a starting point. Because
there's a chick called Jessie that I follow on there, and she literally has movie nights.
Oh yeah.
She posts up a camera on the telly, and she just sits and watches a film with everyone.
Yeah.
Sits and comments with everyone. She's a big Star Wars girl.
It is a little, like you said, it is like live. If you know what I mean. If the phone rings or something happens in the middle of that film, then everyone's seeing it.
You forget there's everyone there, and you just let a fart. Do you know what I mean? You've been watching a film for 10 minutes. You realise you've been scratching your nuts on camera. Because you forget. There's fear. There's levels to this fear.
I'm telling you. You're going to double your audience.
Yeah, that'd be my only Jack audience.
I'm telling you, man. Right, so just to wrap up with you, bro. Just if you can you just leave perhaps just some thoughts on your everyday coping, because obviously we've discussed quite a lot, right? But I think it all impacts health, and I think it all impacts your well-being as well. So is there any kind of like final thoughts, some closing thoughts perhaps that you have on, you know, I mean, how all these maybe how these things have contributed to that, or what you're doing outside of that to kind of maintain yourself, but what you would recommend to anyone that might have sat through us chat this long, and they're like, you know, they've got a lot of things that like you and I, they're very multi-layered people. You know, is there anything that you might, and maybe someone like myself who self-diagnoses slightly as ADHD, so you're kind of running all over the place, but you know, anything that you could advise that has helped you maintain, you know, your stability over the years?
It's this stuff. This is the most important stuff, and it's, you know, as a man, a lot of men struggle with being emotional with other men. As you know me, I will cry if I need to cry. I'll talk about things if I need to talk about things. And it's also finding people that help you realise who you are. And my girlfriend Kirsty, when we met, and I hope she won't mind me talking about her. She's diagnosed ADHD. Since meeting her and kind of seeing symptoms and seeing the things that she talks about is what helped with her diagnosis, seeing so much of it in me, and I'll do something and she'll point out, oh, that's actually a trait of ADHD. Having someone to talk to and relate to, finding those people that you can really relate to, has helped me really settle into who I am as a person. She's done a lot for me in that. Just the fact that I've got someone there that's similar, that I can actually, just find out who I am through other people a little bit. And it's the same, it's our friendship that helped me do that a lot. You know, it helped me when I was younger open up to the fact that I love dancing. I really wanted to, you know, to perform live and do these things. And I had other people that I could relate to and talk to about it, like yourself. And I think it's the community, it's the people that you surround yourself with that are the most important thing. And I think you don't have to go through any of it alone. None of it you have to go through alone. Yeah. And it's being emotional isn't a bad thing. And I think letting that out, you know, being able to cry. Dude, I cried last night listening to an Audible. Bro, this book, 13th Paladin, 250 hours I put into that book.
Wow.
The bro just died and I cried. It was like midnight, but like I'm happy to cry. Like I don't feel like I have to be macho and stuff.
No, I hear you.
And I've talked to you. I've come to you with problems before where I've been broken and like.
Just side note, I've cried. The amount of times tears have come to my eyes during Cobra Kai.
Oh, bro. Yeah, but Cobra Kai that's emotional.
That's what I did. Is it not
that
to the
average kicks me in the heart.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this is my childhood. And
yeah. For real. But like that outlet,
you know,
having that outlet and just learning to be comfortable with being yourself and expressing that to people, you know. And a shout out to Jordan from the gym as well, my boy Jordan. He will always be there if I need to talk as well, and I'm the same for him. You know, when he's going through a bad time, he'll come to me and we'll talk. And I think as men we need to do that more. And it's a bit cliched, I feel like, these days, saying as men we need to talk to each other more, but we need to reinforce it more and more and more. But also, you know, in our relationships, be open and be honest with our partners, our girlfriends, our boyfriends, husbands, wives. Just because you need to talk to your male friends doesn't mean you can't open up to them as well. And it's getting more comfortable with opening up, and being comfortable with it has really helped me. And I think if that's what I want for everyone, especially, you know, us men that repress things. And our generation, we grew up especially with, you know, men don't cry. And men don't do that. And it's like, no, we do, and we need to.
Yeah.
And I think, that's been the biggest thing. And, you know, by opening up like that, it's allowed me to let go of a lot of negativity as well, and a lot of issues that I've had in the past. And, you know, those little voices you get at night time where you think, why did you do that? And it's something that happened 15 years ago. Yeah. Like, all those little voices have really quietened down for me in the last year. Yeah. You know, a year ago, I was in a bad place. I reached out to the people I needed to at the time, and it's worked out so far. And I'm going to have my downs. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And accepting the fact that there are going to be bad times too. It's never always going to be great.
No.
That's been another important lesson for me. So just be open, be honest, and talk to your people. surround yourself with them people. And if your people aren't doing that for you, they're not actually being there for you, find new people.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's hard when you're an older guy, like when you get to our age. It's weird to reach out to a dude and be like, "Do you want to be friends?" Well, but we should do it more.
But do you know what? I think what's interesting. I don't think, like you've already said it. It's not necessarily about reaching out to someone and going, "Hey, do you want to be friends?" It's about joining a community you like. Like you mentioned that dude in America, finding someone that you've just shared a mutual something with, and then making an effort to connect with them.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is difficult to find good people as you get older, but I think you've demonstrated that ability by just involving yourself in what you enjoy, and from that you have found community, and from that you've made an effort to connect with people. And I think that's reflected in what you're doing right now.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, awesome.
I'm gonna go cry now.